I was a young female cabinet maker applying for a summer job in a joinery workshop. I answered all of his questions, which I could tell confused him. So he gave me some side eye and asked, how strong are you? A lady in an office behind him shouted out, "You're not allowed to ask that." I got the job. Turns out it was his wife shouting at him. They stop my dialysis treatments so I can be more available. Yeah, Karen, let me just die for less than 15 an hour. Had unexpectedly asked me what my spirit animal was at the end of the interview. I didn't know what to say, but the first thing that popped out of my head was a bear, because the thought of hibernating and being lazy on cold seasons sounds like something I'd do. It's the most stupidest reply I could give. He ended up being one of the best, if not the nicest and funniest boss I ever had. Very interviewed for was a movie theater while I was still in high school. Manager, are you available Sunday morning? Me, yes, I have open availability. Manager, so you don't attend church Sunday morning? Me, no, I'm free. Manager, oh, so you're gonna burn in hell? Me, sorry, huh. Manager, nothing, it's fine. The reason you in today is because your last name sounded like you're white. We've had the worst luck with black guys doing the job right. Viewer, me no. Interviewer, get out. Software engineer job. Can you smaller? They might be a distraction for some of our patients here. This was at a hospital. And I wasn't wearing anything provocative, I just have big boobs. I didn't get the job, they told me it was because I was too inexperienced. If you were a tree, what kind of a tree would you be? Me, a tree with a job. All kinds of hippy dippy shit like this back in the 70s. Lover toy/accessories shop in the US, hands you an elephant-sized, wiggly-ass dildo and asks you to describe it. You giggle, you lose. I lost. This ago, and I was interviewing for a janitorial position at a private middle school. The interview was going well. The interviewer was asking me why I wanted to work there, what my previous job experience was, etc. The bog standard interview questions. Out of absolutely nowhere, he asks, "You're not attracted to underage girls, are you?" I was taken aback for a moment, and just sort of stared at him waiting for clarification. I think it only occurred to him after having said it how weird the question was, and he quickly started to give some context. Turns out the previous janitor had attempted some sexual advances on some underage students. I was just there to sweep the floors for some cash. Not commit a felony. I had an interview once. Passed the skills interview and was sent on to the guy who would be my manager if I got the job. He made a big show of throwing my resume in the trash and told me the next best use would be to wipe his ass with it since he went to Yale and I didn't, and why did I think I deserved the job? I didn't say anything, just got up and walked out. This was at AIG, remember them? LOL. First interview at a shipping place. Do you think a manager needs to understand the job of the people he's managing? I replied with absolutely. How can he manage people if he doesn't understand how their job works? I was immediately thanked for my time and was told I could leave. In retrospect, I am very glad I never worked for that company. Which the most and why? I answered that I had disagreed with a teacher over a book, I didn't like it and it was her favorite, and she knocked points off all my future tests. Interviewer said it was unprofessional to not like a teacher and I clearly had no interview experience. So yeah, didn't get that internship. For a position. If your employer asked you to do something illegal, would you do it? Now, before anyone hollers that this isn't inappropriate, I found out later that the job had been vacated by a friend of mine, who they fired after he refused to do something illegal for them. What are you leaving your spouse if we relocate you? You mean, for a period of time until we figure out our living situation? No, I mean would you divorce him if you had to move to, say Europe, for the job? Wow. Also, this was a local advertising agency. They didn't even have that many national clients. But also, the interviewer then continuously called and messaged me for days after I declined their offer. So I don't know. First interview, wait, aren't you the guy who owes me that $1,000? Realized after 3 of the longest seconds in my life that he was joking, but boy that caught me off guard. I had an interview by asking me what my favorite ABBA song was. I was so caught off guard and honestly kind of creeped out, because I couldn't figure out how he knew that I loved ABBA. I found out later that when he spoke to my references, he asked them to tell him something about me that wasn't on my resume, and my old boss told him that I was a huge ABBA fan. I've never tugged at your clothes at all. Means you're comfortable with your body. Are you prepared to wear more revealing clothing? I was interviewing for a waitress job. I didn't finish the interview. Where in 5 years, after we got rid of you in 2 to 3 years? No kidding. They really asked it that way. My answer was I don't know. Maybe in front of your grave. Immediate stop to the interview. During the hiring process count? I was asked if I'd ever had sex with animals. That question certainly caught me off guard. What teenager, female, asked you for information about abortion? I answered that I would help her find the information she needed. This was for a librarian job in a small, conservative town. I didn't get the job. I play video games in my downtime once. I said I did, and was instantly turned down for the position. The excuse: we don't hire overgrown children. Get out. Place went under 2 years after that. My to duel me in Mortal Kombat. I was confused and concerned until he showed me that they had a Mortal Kombat 2 arcade machine. He kicked my ass solidly. Honestly, it seemed a little unfair considering they had a machine in their break room and I hadn't played the damn thing since high school. If I was retarded? I said yes. I thought the interview was over at that point, but then they offered me the job. I said no. 1. Ask 2 weird questions for an interview as least. 1. Favorite superhero and why? 2. Do you believe in aliens? Why or why not? 30-second elevator pitch. Are you pregnant? And after I said no. Are you planning to get pregnant? What risk are and do you like? I was in the process of getting a government job that required a high security clearance. I was being interviewed by an agent. Most of the questions were pretty basic, but this one caught me out of left field. I was my personality with a line. I stared at him for a hard 10 seconds and asked what he meant. He said, do you have a lot of highs and lows or are you more steady? I said, oh, you mean like a sine wave, not a line. Yes, it was for a lab job and yes, I am autistic. Does the carpet match the drapes?